Vénganse, vénganse, vénganse. Vamos a jugar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a cantar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a llorar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a fumar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a jugar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a cantar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a fumar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a tomar hoy, hoy, hoy.
Welcome, friends, to another episode on this frequency. We are your hosts. I'm Natalie.
I'm Rickie.
And we are Rayless today.
We are.
Where is Ray? Everyone, I'm panicking for multiple reasons. Not just because Ray is not here to guide us through this episode, but
yeah, Natalie, why are you panicking?
there's no agenda.
There's no what?
There's no agenda.
Okay.
And so, Rickie and I had a conversation over coffee last weekend. And long story short, we decided, you know what? We're not going to talk all week. And we're just going to come in on Friday night and we're just going to shoot the shit.
Right. Because we do take a lot of time to plan things out, to talk about things, and we'll do these outlines and all these topics will come up, and then the whole week will go by and we're talking about this topic, and then it ends up becoming this convoluted, very complex conversation that by the time we get here,
We've already, I think the conversation's just kind of...
and we're burnt out.
Yeah.
We're
yeah.
burnt out. So
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? We should just, we already know that we converse well about anything. And it never surprises me how we can just go for hours.
Right.
Without even having an agenda as it relates to our personal lives.
Right.
So I'm always really impressed by that. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to worry about this. I don't want to, let's just see what comes out and have it be a thing, and that's it.
Yeah, and initially, I was very like, well, let's see, I don't know.
And you were still like that moment.
And I'm still even now
ago.
like, I don't know. And that's only because, and I'll say this because we're talking about our personal lives and how raw and real everything is. Naturally, I'm the type of person that has to kind of have a plan, so to speak.
Okay.
A guide, something to base myself off of. So whenever we do this podcast, I do like to have something written down or have read something, even if it's as basic as the definition of what is Google for, just so that I can get my wheels spinning and get my mind going. And so going off just like this, I'm freaking out.
Still?
You know what I mean? Yeah, because I don't know if I'm going to have a brain fart or if I'm not going to get the words out.
You have those even when you have things planned out.
True.
You
true.
still you have those moments inevitably.
Fair.
So I think what happened was, knowing that we weren't going to have an agenda and we didn't have anything, probably like an hour before, I remembered, and also because I've had uncertainty on my mind these last few weeks. Excuse me. There's a documentary on Netflix called Stutz. And it's Jonah Hill interviewing his therapist who has Parkinson's. I was fascinated with his doctor. Straight up, I loved his doctor.
Yeah.
And I happened to watch it in a time where my house was burning down.
You really needed it.
Yeah. Now, I word for word wrote everything this man said down.
Okay.
I was pausing the movie, writing it down. He does these little images, drawings and stuff like that. And it really spoke to me. He kind of just broke down life in its simplest form, right? And just saying that you just need 3 basic things. If you're in a shithole and you can't figure things out, just focus on your exercise, your body.
Right.
Make sure that your body is having activity and you're eating right. Then your relationships with people, Like making sure that, and not like everybody and their mother, but just like core people in your lives.
Yeah.
And then the last one is getting in touch with your subconsciousness, like writing to yourself, like really connecting with who you are. And the best way to do that is just through writing, freely. So I was really into it, and I really everything that he said I exercised. And there's this whole part that he has in there. Sorry, I can't get rid of this cough. I've had this cough for like 4 weeks.
Allergy season.
It's terrible.
Too, though, right?
There's this section where he talks about the aspects of reality.
Okay.
And how 3 unavoidable things that we cannot get around at all: pain, uncertainty, and constant work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he breaks it.
Fair.
Yeah, he does. And he breaks it down, and he pretty much says that these are the things we just have to live with no matter what. There's no way around it, right? If it didn't work like that, if you could banish those things, then there would be no progress in your life. Like there's no room for you to grow if you don't have pain, uncertainty, and constant work.
Yeah.
So he says, without these elements, there is no change, no bravery, no courageousness. Right?
Okay.
And he kind of just goes on to say how much we need just bad things happening to us. Because that's what... And the one I think that I have the most difficult time accepting is the uncertainty part. Because that's the one thing that I think I want so badly is certainty. The relationships in my life, the jobs that I have, the things that I'm doing. How can I just be really sure of something? I want to be sure of things.
Well, can we replace the word certainty with stable? Because not like you're saying, right? Nothing is certain,
right?
But things can be stable. You can have a.
I think stability is the complete opposite of uncertainty. Because if you're stable, then you have nothing to really worry about, right? So to speak, like the things that you want to be, like, what do you want to be stable about? You in particular.
Money.
Okay, finances. If you have all of the finances, all your money, all the money that you need and want, you have it all. You're safe. You don't have nothing to worry about, right? Something else is going to creep up on you.
Right.
That is going to make you uncertain that finances can't fix.
Right.
It's inevitable. And that's what he's saying. Like, and it kind of goes back to what you're saying of expectation. Like, don't expect shit.
Yeah.
Don't expect anything from anyone. Don't expect anything and learn to. So that's what I'm learning, right? Don't expect anything and get comfortable with living with uncertainty, which is hard, right? Because if you don't expect anything, then you almost embrace uncertainty.
Sure.
Because if something bad happens, okay, well, something good happens. Oh, surprise.
Yeah.
You know what
we
I'm
have
saying?
to be comfortable with the unknown.
And that's what I'm trying to get at, but that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard to want to be certain, to want that certainty. And I was thinking, well, why do I want certainty so bad? Why do I want stability so bad? Why do I want these elements in my life? And I think because I want those things, I create these attachments with people. And I try to hold on to people as much as I can, because what if you leave? What if I don't have you anymore?
Right.
Then what?
And then you go into a state of anxiety and panic and stress, and then you're pulling on this person really tight now. Or tugging.
All of that.
And now this person's freaking out, I'm sure, right? Or whoever these people might be. And then now as a result, they're going to pull away because of your uncertainty. So it becomes this, like,
and then I become uncertain. It's the circle of uncertainty.
Yeah.
It is. But I really want to embrace that. I really want to practice that. But I think it's really hard when other people, or the majority of people, think that may even be a radical thing. To love unconditionally, to not have expectations from people, and to get comfortable in the uncertainty.
Yeah.
Because then again, I thought, well, what am I afraid of? What am I? And I think it just goes back to the people that I lost along the way in my life that were key people, were really important people. And that quote unquote abandonment kind of stuck with me. And so now I'm in a constant state of people aren't going to stick around.
Yeah. So then is your love conditional?
Oh, it always has been.
But you want unconditional love.
I'm trying to learn how to love unconditionally.
Okay.
Because to my point, right, that things are conditional. It's like when you get into relationships with people, and when I say get into relationships with people, I'm not meaning like a romantic, with anybody.
Yeah.
With your friends, with your family, with your kids. There's
Anyone.
always, and again, going back to an expectation and going back to conditions. I'm gonna do this, but I expect you to do this back. I want you to reciprocate this. And sometimes you don't even talk about it, and it's an unsaid thing. And then
and that's really hard.
It is really hard.
Because then you become really disappointed in yourself and the other person, and then there's all this friction and resentment.
Hell yeah,
out of
that's
nowhere.
really easy to collect.
Yeah.
It's really easy to resent people, to be upset with people. We were talking about earlier this week arguing, or what is it that Ray asked us is,
Why do we argue?
why do we argue? And I don't remember what you said.
I said that I don't know why we argue. I said I know why I argue. And for me, that's unresolved trauma of trying to seek validation from a young age, always wanting to be heard and even have someone agree to disagree. And it's been a constant, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, I'm right.
Okay, so
like,
would
just
you
let me
say
be right,
So two things. My answer was, I'm arguing with somebody if I don't feel like I'm heard.
Right.
I'm going to have it out with you until you hear what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
At all costs. Even if at the end of the day, you don't even really listen to what I actually said. But so would you say that you carry all of your anger and all of your resentments and all of that trauma that you have, and so whoever happens to be the person you're arguing with, they get that entire history of anger?
Exactly. Because it's
That's sad.
It is sad.
That's
it's
not
unresolved.
fair, Natalie.
But isn't that what? So what triggers your anger?
Oh no! Don't deflect, homegirl.
Well,
but hold on.
because that's what it is for me. You answered it for me. It's all of the years of resentment and not being heard and not being not agreeing with what I'm saying and stressing out about just listen to what I have to say, and the person on the receiving end is just trying to prove their point as well. So I think for me, I never learned how to have a conflict resolution. That's what it is. I didn't know the conflict resolution, which I've been learning along the way, right?
We talked about that last week.
Exactly. And so that's very difficult to do, especially when your ego kicks in, right? And all you start seeing is red.
Right. And I keep mentioning this book that you suggested that we read from Dr. Gabor Mate.
The Myth of Normal.
The Myth of Normal. And he talks about how it's okay to be angry.
Yeah.
But there's a healthy way to be angry.
Yeah.
There's 100% a healthy way to be angry, and we just
And to have discussions with people.
Yeah, and I'm like, why am I reading this book at this age? How come I didn't read this earlier? But in thinking of the last time I was angry, I kind of like when I get angry, because I think I'm not sure that I carry all of my trauma with me. I'm sure I do. There's remnants of it. But what'll happen is I'll take shit from people.
Yeah.
And I'll just collect it. Not say anything.
Like if you're having with a specific person.
Yeah. And
For
actually, that's what Dr. Gabor Mate says. He says that depression is literally depressed anger that you just like suffocate inside of you. And that's why you end up depressed, because you got all this anger, this build up.
That feels heavy already, just talking about it.
Exactly. So I think, mine is short term, right? So like, let's say we've like within the last year and a half, I may have gotten mad at you very many times, but you would have never known.
Yeah.
Because I shut up about it. I pack it away. And then one day you're going to do something that's going to completely upset me and make me feel. Let me get back to the make me feel part. Because I want to pinpoint what that is. but I will let you have it. Mm-hmm. And I'll say all of the things that I should have said in the moment that you made me angry before
you started opening up that bag of...
So here goes a year and a half's worth of anger, and I'm gonna let you have it, and it feels so good.
Yeah,
it feels so good. And I have a very specific example in my head about the last time that I was really angry, and it was such a good release to say all of these angry things, to say mean things, and to just, because I think I prefaced my my disbursement of anger with saying I'm really pissed, like I'm angry, and this is me being angry, and then I just like have at it. After I'm done with it, it's like a good cry. You feel relieved. And then I go back and then I apologize, like, look, I said some mean things, but I really just wanted you to kind of feel what I was feeling. It's not because I really necessarily think that, which is not a good thing to do, but acknowledging that and going back and kind of walking through your angry moments. It felt so good though. So now I have to learn how to do that
initially
and not hold on to the inventory of anger that I have for for anybody.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Because it can become, rather than what our conversation was, an argument, it could just be a discussion. Which is completely different, right? We can discuss the issue. Hey, you know what? I didn't like the way that you told me this. Can you please not do that again? That really hurt my feelings. And the person will acknowledge, hey, sorry, blah, 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 rather than I'm going to bottle it up, da, da, da. And now we're arguing because, hey, now you're not listening. Now you've already made me feel all kinds of ways in the past. And so now I'm going to throw it back at you in a mean way.
Yes. And so, I just lost my train of thought because I was looking up the definition of argument, which is an exchange of diverging or opposite views, typically a heated or an angry one, like when you have those underlying tones of all of that. I think the reason why I won't have courageous confrontations with people, I'm afraid of losing them. What if I say something that's really going to upset that person and then they just walk out, which is absurd for me to think. Like, as I'm saying that out loud, I'm thinking like, why would I think that key people in my life would do that? Right. That's a weird thing to say. And, or I just don't want to cause any conflict. I've already been through enough conflict. Why would I want to just create more? But with that, depressing my feelings and compounding everything inside instead of just fuck it. Like, this is what it is.
Yeah. I think I could agree with you on that. I'd rather just avoid the conflict altogether, because now I don't want this weird tiptoeing around, or I also won't want to have confrontation if it means that now a said person is going to say, oh, well, I can't tell you anything because you're going to be mad. You're always upset, which I think I told you a few weeks ago that I'm so tired of just coming off like an angry woman all the time. I'm tired of being angry.
Okay, so what are you angry about?
This exact topic, not being heard, feeling like nobody's listening.
Okay, so,
and by nobody listening, I'm meaning the core people in my life, as we're saying. My husband, my mom, my sister, nobody's listening, or nobody feeling like I can't relate, or they're not relating. And so, you know what I mean? And so this whole parenting thing and being a mom is all a new world. And so when I'm explaining to someone, hey, you know what, like, let's say, for example, I'm telling you, hey, Rickie, you know what, this whole breastfeeding thing is just taking a whole toll on me. It's so much.
Right.
Let's say I'm telling my sister, oh, well, just stop. Not that she said this. Okay, Kelly, sorry.
No,
I'm just putting you as an example out there. But, just do something else. And really what I'm wanting is somebody to listen and not give me the suggestion or recommendation, because I already know what I need to do. What I want is for somebody to listen. So that's been really hard for me just since the baby's been born.
Have you told these core people that that's how you feel, that you feel like you're not being heard and you wish that they would be active listeners with you?
Now, yes. And so now it's a matter of like, oh, you mean that's all I had to do?
Okay, and
You know what I mean?
did they start doing it afterwards?
Yeah. Now it's like, oh, okay.
And now they're active listeners.
But it's always, what is it? 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Because they can listen, they can be there, but then sometimes, and I think it's natural. I think we all do it. So I can't blame anyone. I can't even blame myself or whatever the situation, because we all do it. Oh, I'm so sorry. Here, maybe you should just do this. And it's natural because I do it too. Oh, just do that and you'll be fine. You know
okay, so and you can't be mad at people for being different types of listeners.
Exactly.
Which goes back to expectations. Like you want people to listen to you a certain way, hear you a certain way, and then follow it up with actions to reinforce what they heard out of your mouth. Mm-hmm. Actually, that makes sense. That's and that's what I would call like active and loyal listening. Mm-hmm. When you tell somebody, hey, I've been through this, that, and that. Like, here's all my shit. Here's all my trauma. Here's everything.
Yeah.
I kind of would hope that person would take a proactive approach.
Yeah.
And not do things that would trigger more whatever PTSD I had before.
Yeah.
And I say that because I've practiced that. Mm-hmm. Like, I've had people in my life who have said, oh, friends who do have PTSD from being in domestic violence disputes, right? And I'm aware of that, and I'm careful when I listen to them and what I tell them,
right?
Because I want them to feel heard,
and safe to tell you too,
and safe to tell me. And so that, but not everybody is like that, and sometimes I feel bad getting mad at people who the concept just doesn't reside, and they're incapable of listening. But it does lead me to think about I was reading something about listening, and I'm actually a really terrible listener. Mm-hmm. And I realized that and only because I want to just problem solve, like right away I want to go in there and fix whatever someone's telling me. Mm-hmm. They may not even be asking me for help.
You're about action.
So in the first 30 seconds of somebody telling me something, I've already fully assessed what the problem is and how they can fix it before they even finish their complete thought or sentence.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I cut them off, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, look, you just got to do this.
Right.
And then by that time, you'll get this result, because that's just how I'm programmed. But why do I think that that's what people want from me?
Right.
Why do I think that everybody is coming to me for a solution?
Yeah.
I've made that assessment and that judgment in my head that's what people want from me. Right. When in fact, nobody's fucking asking me for that.
Right.
They sometimes just listen. Mm-hmm. Just shut up and listen.
Mm-hmm. And because you already know how to solve the problem, and you know how to, and probably have had past experience, you're like, oh, look, here, boom, all done.
Right. And so now with people, like I have my dear friend Amy, and I tell her all the time that I'm trying to practice this, right?
Yeah.
So she may come and vent about something, anything, and I won't say anything. So if you're my friend, you know that I am always talking. I can't keep my mouth shut. So it's got to be a weird experience when all of the sudden, I'm not saying anything.
Right.
So then it's like, are you there? Yeah, well, I'm here. I'm listening.
Well, I wonder, because I feel like I'm the one that listens to you all the time.
Do
you ever feel like I'm not listening, or that
No.
Or you know what I mean? Or that I don't have anything to say to you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
How you have made me feel is I feel like I just dump everything on you, whatever it is that I need to say.
Yeah.
You only interrupt me when it's a vital part of whatever assessment you're going to make in your head. And it's not that much. It's rare, few far and in between. Mm-hmm. And then once it's all done, then you like lay it out very beautifully.
Mind you guys, side note, this takes about 20 hours to do.
No,
but only because, and not because of the talking or the conversation, but because there's just so much that goes into just because you can say, oh, I have this problem, but this problem becomes so much more than just oh, I'm sad about this person, it becomes, okay, well, what has happened in your life? What has happened in this person's life? What is actually the root of the problem? And so we can go on and on and on and on, and until we pinpoint, all right, this is what you need to work on.
Right.
We don't have enough people like that in our lives.
No, we don't. And again, that's why I'm trying to practice just
Listening.
shutting the fuck up and listening.
But that's not like you. That's not like do you feel like, I don't know. I don't feel like everyone. No, yes, okay. Never mind. Everyone does need to be a better listener. Everyone should be a good listener.
What if you're just not good at it though? And you can't. What if they're
That's
not,
not your strength.
They're not. I don't want to
Not
that
to
it's
say
not
that.
my
No, I'm
strength.
not saying that's not
I don't
your
wanna think
strength.
that.
I'm using the hypothetical person.
Agreed.
That's
But
not their strength.
But also too, I think I'm good at listening to other people than not. I have certain people that I can listen to and not say so much, and then I have other people where I already know where it's going, and it's like, okay, this is just how the relationship is already. So I think it's different with everybody, no doubt. But it is an insecurity of mine sometimes because, like with you, and I told you this last week, and I said I always feel like I'm telling you everything that's going on in my life, and you're problem solving for me, and this, that, and the other. Like, you don't need me? Like you don't want to ask me for something, or can I listen to you? Can I help? I feel guilty.
Yeah.
That I'm just usually the one that. But Ray had a good point about you. He was like, Natalie's a listener and a poker. And I was like, nah, she is. She's a poker, but.
Yeah, I think that I'm very much like that with a lot of my relationships. I'm the listener. I just listen. Even in social places where listening isn't required, I'm a listener. And I'm totally okay with that. And the opposite of you, I'm trying to be I'm trying to share more, because that helps me release and process all of whatever I got going on. But that's so hard. That's so hard coming from an environment where it was just, calladita te ves más bonita type thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, well.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to share more.
So you were told that growing up?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Calladita te ves más bonita.
Yeah.
So translate that in English.
Oh God.
Quietly,
Jesus.
you're more beautiful quiet.
Yeah. Say less.
Say less. Say less.
Say less.
Say
You
less.
look better. I don't know if that's the right translation, but it is.
It is.
And that is, and it didn't have to be. That's not something that was directly directed at me. That's just a given.
Oh, I was directly
what I
told.
mean?
It reminded me. My mom used to go and get her hair done, and I remember. She's gonna kill me for saying this. I remember her taking me. I don't know. I must have been like 7 or 8, and before we walk into the salon, she's like, "Don't talk. You talk a lot. Just please sit still and just shh." And my mom was very and I always felt, well, I'm gonna sit there I want to know what these ladies are doing, who they are.
There's so much to see, so much to ask
that's
about.
just who I am. I wanna know. So, but and again, my mom was the complete opposite. My mom was, she's a mouse. She doesn't make a peep.
Yeah.
To this day.
Yeah. So to have someone opposite of her or of you,
I can
must have been
imagine
very
that must have
challenging.
been that must have been difficult for my mom, because it was definitely, and it makes me think of my brother, and I think that's why she has a better connection with my brother, because he's quiet, like her. He does, which makes me now think. So of the two of you, because the two of you, I would categorize you guys as listeners.
Yeah.
My brother doesn't say much. Well, he does in different things, but in other things, I don't know. He's just you. I don't. So you're both listeners. Shit.
Oh, and that's hard because of the listeners. The talker. And so that also brings some of our issues. I'll tell him like, dang, you really don't got nothing to say? I'm always, and so then I tell him like, I feel like I'm always the problem.
So you feel like me then?
Yeah, I feel like there's
Welcome to my
always
life with you.
something wrong. And then he still won't say anything, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I guess I am the problem. And that's hard. That's hard because I have to accept, like, that's just who I am. That is who he is. But I do have to drive the point to him, like, look, we need to converse. We need to have dialogue. I need to know what you're thinking, even if it's horrible or if it's great. Like, I need some feedback because that can only help our relationship, no matter whatever the case is. Because, yeah, he's a very good listener.
Two quiet listeners, quiet talkers. But then, too, like, I remember I used to have my mentor, my boss, Jerry. He used to always, you could ask him a question and he would not answer you right away. And people would get frustrated with him and look at him like, what's wrong with you? Like, why aren't you saying anything?
Like, would he literally just stare with a
he would literally be thinking about whatever you just asked him or about the whole conversation.
He's tactful.
So, yes. So I remember him telling me, like, so do you want me to just say something, anything, so that it can confirm that, I'm thinking about it? Or can you just give me a minute so I can actually give you a valuable answer?
Yeah.
I can give you something that matters. Which actually reminds me of just recently, I had a very, very awkward conversation with somebody that I care about. And I liked none of what this person said.
Oh.
None of what this person said. Like, I was surprised at what they were telling me. And
was this a close person to you, or just or like
an acquaintance?
Okay.
I known this person for a minute, like maybe like 2 years, right?
Okay.
And this person was pissed that I did not call them back after 5 days. Right? We played phone tag, right? They called me, didn't answer. I called them, didn't answer. We kind of texted a little bit here and there, right? And so this person's like,
so you're not going to call me back now?
Right. And gave this whole explanation about you need to communicate better and this, that, and the other. I was just like seeing red in my head. And before, I would have come up with some excuse. I would have said, well, this, that, da, 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 for the sake of saying something.
Right.
I said not a word. Like, I was just quiet. Because I was thinking, what could I possibly say to this person?
Yeah.
They're still going to be pissed that I didn't pick up the phone or I didn't make the effort that they wanted me to make to call them within the last 5 days.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can say.
Yeah.
And so I said, let me just sit with this. Can I just sit with this and I'll get back to you? Which made it worse.
Yeah.
Because it was like, well, what are you thinking about it? Like, I don't understand. What do you have to think about?
Yeah.
I didn't want to say anything that was going to upset the person even more than the person was already upset. And I was just irritated. Like, why am I having this If I could have really been honest in that moment, I'd have been like, you're not my dad. Bye.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, why do I have to report to you? I was pissed.
For sure.
I don't like anybody giving me, like, timelines, restrictions. I already have a lot of shit going on.
Right.
The last thing that I need is somebody telling me something that they had a problem with. I'm not a mind reader. How was I supposed to know you were going to have a problem with this?
Right. And not to offend anyone, right? But you are not that important. I'm sorry. This goes to everyone and anyone. It's just not.
Including me?
But you know what I mean? Like, it can be that important. Like, it's just not. We all have shit going on. I'm sorry. I listened.
That stressed me out right now. I was pissed. And I'm angry about that. I'm genuinely angry. Hold on. Let me finish.
Okay,
this person did not want to get off the phone. And I was like, just like poking me, like trying to get an answer out of me. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go work out. And I need it because I'm not going to give you an answer that you want. I don't want to talk about this. I'm not in a space to do this.
I'm turned off.
And there's dead silence.
Yeah.
Why do I want to sit in silence?
Yeah.
So we hung up and that was it. And so again, that anger is just piling up.
Yeah.
For this person.
Yeah.
I hope they don't call. I'm not calling.
If they're listening to this podcast.
Oh God, I hope not.
Move past it. But I was listening to Kevin Hart. where was it? A podcast. Oh yes, the Jay Shetty podcast. Kevin
Oh,
Hart.
Jay Shetty with hair. We had a whole discussion about
that's
Jay
a
Shetty
whole
with
other
hair.
thing. He said something that really resonated, and I've been having it on my mind, and it just kind of goes along with what you're saying. I feel it's just that everything is not that deep, and everything does not require an explanation
Or an answer or a response.
or yeah.
Okay, but I'm so glad you said that. So here's the thing. I was thinking about some very significant decisions that I have to make in my life. Like, I have some real serious decisions I got to make. Mm-hmm. And I have overthought these decisions like you have no idea. Mm. Thinking about all the possible scenarios. What could go wrong? What could go good? Like, just thinking. Mm-hmm. And today I was like, wait, I've just overthought this. Why am I thinking so hard about this? This shouldn't be something that is that difficult to think about. Mm. But it goes back to uncertainty. Mm. I'm trying to find like a fucking math problem. Mm-hmm. This plus this is going to give me this answer. Mm-hmm. I want that. That's the certainty that I want. But because that's not the way shit works, that's not the way life works, you live in this state of uncertainty and you're overthinking shit and you're all of these, and there's no peace with that. To your point that shit doesn't really have to be that complicated sometimes.
Yeah.
But we love to complicate it. We love to get ourselves in the mud and make things worse.
By the time that we're done, we're 6 feet, in, drowning. Mm-hmm. And all along, we've had the answer on our hands, and I don't know. We overthink a lot.
Yeah, we do.
We make up scenarios in our head, and we're really good at manifesting.
But you want to be sure about something. So you are gonna think all of those things through.
Well, what do you want to be? Well, what are you trying to be certain about? What exactly? What is it? Let's get because I want to solve it now. You see, look at how I want to give you the answer now.
I think that I'm getting to an age where I'm thinking about, like, I look at both of my parents, right?
Yeah.
They're polar opposites. I have one parent who did not remarry, focused on her kids. My mom we are her everything. My mom went out, traveled, did her thing, but that was it. Mm-hmm. There was no other love story after that. Mm-hmm. My dad's been going on his third marriage. Been all over the world, doing all kinds of things, getting his feet wet, just everything. All over, right?
Bless their hearts, both of them.
Right. And I feel split between them because I can relate to both.
Oh, of course.
I can relate to the type of life that my mom is living, right? Stress-free. You ain't got to talk to anybody. You don't have to ask anybody. You don't have to. You're on your own. You're making decisions for yourself and for the well-being of those that you immediately care for, which in this particular case, her kids and her grandkids, right? Yeah. And that's it. There is nothing complicated about my mom's life. Nothing.
I love that.
It's simple. Yeah. It's predictable. Whew. All right, cool. I'm just going to write it out from here. Mm-hmm. And then I think about my dad's life. And I could see that too. Oh, okay, cool. He's having a great life. Well, even with all of his wives, he's always had something dynamic going on, something exciting. And I thought that was beautiful to be able to share that experience with somebody and to be able to build a life with somebody as you go on through life, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like I was like, what do I want for myself? And I feel that as if I'm at that like crossing point, that threshold I see. I'm either gonna lock it down,
okay,
and focus on my career, my path, all of that, my kids,
yourself, and
I'm going to just cut that expectation or cut that desire to do what my dad's doing, that, building with somebody else, having a romantic partner of any kind. If I go my mom's route, right, that could work. I see how it's working for my mom, right? And then I think about, but there's a lot of responsibility that goes into that also, because my mom doesn't have anybody to share her life with. We kind of become that. So there's a different type of responsibility. Not even that she asks that. Not even that she asks us to fulfill any type of need in that aspect of it. But we're naturally all there for each other, right?
Yeah. She's your immediate family. She's the one that you...
Where my dad... Convives? Yeah. Where my dad's just, living his life.
But both of your parents are living their lives.
They are. But it's how they're living their lives, right? And so I wonder... I'm not sure what I want to do. I don't necessarily want to end up alone, so to speak. I want to enjoy the later part of my life. And I think the reason why now it's coming to me. I think the reason why I want to enjoy the later part of my life is because the first half was shitty. Not shitty, but the first part was really hard. And I want to, in a sense, really enjoy the next part of my life and why can't I be a mix of both? Why can't I have somewhat of my independence but be able to share that with somebody, which even then that in itself sometimes isn't a realistic thing or a thing that appeals to people, right? Because you're like, I want to something in between, right? But I think those are things that I'm thinking about. That's what's on my mind. And I remember when my Aunt Rosie was dying and the nurses that were coming in while she was in hospice was really astounded by how much family she had there with her. And she goes on to say that like the majority, 90% of the people that she's taking care of, people are by themselves.
That's sad.
Like by themselves. And so I think a part of me that's...
Well, rest assured that you won't be by yourself
in
your dying days.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Unless it's something like completely like that happens at a snap of a finger, but you'll have plenty of people around. I'll be sure to be there. Okay. DeLuca will be there, unless we go before you, but
But does that make sense?
Yes, I do have a question though. I feel like you're limiting yourself to the potential of your life, and not to say that your parents' lives are limited, but what if your life turns out completely different than, and that's probably your overthinking too, what if your life ends up completely different than what your parents' life is? I don't think it has to be a mix of your mom and your dad or one more than the other. I think it can be completely outside of that. And I don't...
What's outside of that?
I don't know.
Okay, but I see what you're saying.
Like
I'm
those are
limiting
limiting
myself.
beliefs. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
That I can only be this.
Right.
But I think that's a lot of us.
It is.
Because that's all we know, really. Like that's all you know.
Right.
You see how your mom has brought up you guys and how her life has played out. You see how your dad has lived his life and how it's playing out. And so you think, all right, well, I got to do one of these two things here.
That's definitely sometimes like how I feel.
But it doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't, and you're right. And so to my point, why am I even thinking about this right now? Why is that even a thing for me to think about? That's, who cares? To your point, sometimes really things are that simple. They don't have to be that complicated. They don't have to, you don't have to have all. But again, that's anxiety, right? When you're trying to think of, you're not in the present moment. You're carrying around your terrible past just like a backpack. You're just, let's go past, let's go.
Yeah.
And you're trying to think about the future, completely ignoring the present.
Yeah.
That's anxiety at its
Yeah.
finest. And uncertainty.
Yeah.
And uncertainty. So that's what I'm trying to practice, is to live, to get comfortable with uncertainty and know that it brings the opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
It brings the opportunity for, discovering things about yourself.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the one thing I should probably be certain about, is self-discovery no matter what.
Yeah. And just go with the flow,
Oh, okay. Easier said than done. Just go with the flow. No.
The flowers are blooming. The sky is blue.
Yeah, tell yourself that every day. I want to
just go with the flow. But I think we do have to remind ourselves and tell ourselves that. Just go with the flow. Because ultimately, all right, you have a decision that you have to make.
Yeah, what if the flow you end up on Niagara Falls down? I'm gonna just go with the flow.
You better learn how to swim. Look, because
yeah, I want the flow to take me to a nice calm pond. Wait, hold on.
Then go there.
No, a river would never go to a pond, right? Because a pond is just solitary.
It sits there.
A pond just sits there.
Bloop,
I'm over here trying to get the river to get me to a calm pond, but it is
be the pond.
I'll take a stream. I'll take a stream because at this point, in my mind, I'm gonna get the deathly waterfall if I go with the flow.
Look, you're gonna make the decision, and if you don't like the decision that you made, you can change it.
Can I?
And it's always gonna change anyway, because things always change.
Okay, so interesting that you said change. 1,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, when my brother was going to Musicians Institute.
Okay, he is not that old. I literally thought you were gonna bring up like cavemen or something.
Okay, I don't know how long. Okay, wait. If Alina's 22, she's gonna be 21. So this was like 19 years ago. Okay, my brother is going to school and he has to write a song and turn it in for an assignment. So he's like, he gets a singer-songwriter that he used to be in a band with, Chris Harris, my cousin Mondo, and himself. We all collaboratively write this song.
Yeah.
And we did it here in the studio too. I remember I was so nervous about singing, and I had all these like drapes around me because I didn't want nobody to look at me.
Yeah.
But I specifically remember a lyric to the song. The chorus says, "Hold on, something's gonna change." Because I already knew at that point in my life that it was bad. Like, this is not good.
Right.
But hold on,
Yeah.
Rickie, because something's gonna change.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I wrote that song for myself to remind myself that, listen, as terrible as things may be right now, it's gonna change, and you're gonna be the one to change it. And that's why I wrote the chorus of the song like that.
I like that. So, okay, so reflecting back, did you think that Rickie was going to be doing this, all of what you are now?
I don't know. No.
At all?
No. At that time, that was me exiting the entertainment part of my life, when I was really focused on being in the entertainment industry and interning at Sony Music. I was heavy in that, managing my brother's band. But that was also the beginning of the end, because that didn't last long, and I didn't have the support, so it all ended. And I really thought I was never gonna step foot back into this industry, which goes back to what we were talking about earlier. In this break that I've taken for myself, I really reflected and thought, am I really supposed to be here? Am I really supposed to be doing this?
Now,
like just being in the industry that I'm in, like doing what I'm doing right now. Wouldn't this all be a lot easier if I just got a regular job again, and I could live a good life, and I could, not have to worry about all of this stuff that's going on and build a business? That would just be a lot easier. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I here? And I think earlier when you came in and I was telling you that I was really excited about what was going on this weekend and everything that we had going on.
Yeah.
Is that little twinkle in my eye.
Yeah.
As much as
Excitement
it
coming back.
Yeah, as much as it exhausts me, as much as it's such a challenge. It challenges me being in this, doing this, right? And I think for me, the biggest, what I like, are challenges. They get
stimulating.
My brain. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I think about, like, today's Friday, right? Okay, so we have, I think, like 4 different events that have to happen in the next 2 days.
Okay.
So I love trying to figure out the logistics behind it. Okay, what do we need? Who needs to go? What are going to be the anticipated problems behind it? How can we immediately troubleshoot and resolve?
Yeah.
And how does everybody, just the logistics behind all of that, it just absolutely, like, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It does wear me out, and it does take a lot from me, but that's
what gets you going.
And I like to see the end result.
I think you're also, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? You're in a different state of mind. I think that you're approaching this from a completely different angle.
Yes.
And obviously you have, not that you haven't had the experience, but the experience from the last year or two, and you've been able to reflect on what you did like, what you didn't like,
What can I change
personally
about
and
it?
professionally,
Right.
and now you're coming in with said things in mind, and now you're gonna execute
Yes.
more seamlessly. I think it's more seamless this time, or it appears to me, it appears to be more seamless.
Thank you for that credibility.
Yes.
Which goes back to uncertainty.
What? How?
Because I don't know how I managed to do it, but I survived for the last year off of what Rose City Sound made. You know how hard that is?
Yeah.
How hard that was?
Right. New business.
That was a very humbling thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. The uncertainty is what drove me crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know people are going to call us for business. And it doesn't matter how much business development, how much relationships, people can change their mind at any minute.
Of course.
The same way we've gotten opportunities, right?
Yeah.
When people decided to change their minds about who they were doing business with before.
Yeah.
And we got an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
I know that uncertainty lies there.
Right.
And then when you're surviving off of it, oh man, it was terrible. So now you're overworking yourself and just completely throwing yourself at it, making sure that there's not a beat that's missed.
Yeah.
Which was careless on my behalf also, because all I had to do was ask for help. All I had to do was lean in. You know, we have a great team with Ray and with Hex and with Severe, and I even say the extended family that we have with like Jody, people that are actively involved in, they can help you. And I
Right.
say this, I was talking to Jody the other day because I needed her help to pick up my child.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate asking for help, but there's no way I'm going to do what I need to do right now
Right.
if I don't ask for this help.
Yeah.
But that also comes from a place of having to constantly prove myself to people. To be
I
like,
got
look,
it.
I got this. I can do this. I'm worthy of this. This is my place.
Yeah.
But I killed myself trying to prove that.
Yeah. I
And again, because I was uncertain about what people thought of me. I thought everyone around me thought, how's she gonna do this? Can she do this? Like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
I didn't have confidence in what people thought about me, and that uncertainty is what drove me like down bad.
But now you don't need that from people anymore, right? Or
No,
that's
that's-
not something to have.
No, I don't.
Want?
I don't want it anymore. I don't want to
Yeah,
do.
we
I don't
don't
want to
need it.
I don't want to abuse, because it's a form of abuse. Like what I did to myself was very abusive
Yeah.
on every level, and I think that knowing the certainty that I have now is when shit hits the fan and everything just like goes to shit. You really see who's there. You really see who has it out for you,
Has
who's
your back.
who has your back, and then that's when a kind of certainty comes through.
Who's gonna reach out?
So it becomes a thing where it doesn't matter what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That uncertainty is always gonna be there. What is certain
Yeah.
are the people who love you. What is certain are the people that are next to you, are helping you, are guiding you. That love should always be certain.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that certainty with your group of people that you have around you, how are you going to tackle all of life's uncertainties?
Right.
It becomes nearly impossible. Damn, that was good. Damn. Meow, 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 meow.
Look at us being Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
You are love.
Yeah. Love is the answer to everything. And my brother always says this all the time.
He does.
Love, love, love. We Hex and I we did a Dodgers event this Tuesday, and he brought his nephew with him. After we went and we caught lunch, we were having lunch, and he asked me, he said, "So, Rickie, what is your what is your goal with Rose City Sound? Like, what is it that you want to do?" Right? And so I said, "Well, I guess the long-term goal is to have a brick and mortar and, have a place and whatever, travel the
Work out
world
of
with
there.
all the talent that we have and build and bring music to people."
Yeah.
I said, "But I think ultimately my goal is to do what we do with all the love that we have inside of us. We love music. Our relationship with music is big, right? And then the relationship and the commitment and the purpose that we have to share that music with people.
Yeah.
Because we also love to see how music influences people, how music changes people.
How they move.
Everything, the emotion behind that. So the combination of all those things. And then you get to do that with people you love.
Yeah.
And then you get to practice that and share all these crazy events and all these crazy times. And all of that is love.
Yeah. Bliss.
It's love. And love, I've recently learned, is hard sometimes. It's difficult. But at the root of it, it's everybody's intention, and commitment to one another and to the purpose of sharing music and just legit making the world a better place.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's that simple.
That's all everyone wants.
Yes. I don't know why I brought that story up.
Girl, you can't ask me. I don't know. What does the chat say?
I don't know.
Chat, where are we at? Because if you don't know, I have no clue.
We don't know. And we're actually going to wrap up because we do want to chat it up with all those live on Twitch with us. You can catch us on Twitch.
Yes.
Fridays, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We're here and we love it. This is new for On This Frequency because after this, we get to ask everybody what their uncertainties are. What are you guys scared about? What makes you nervous? And how do you deal with that?
Exactly.
Right.
So that's twitch.tv/On This Frequency. And you can also watch us on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to be notified whenever we upload new episodes. And you can always support the On This Frequency team by buying us some coffee. You can send us your donation at buymeacoffee.com/On This Frequency. Keep in touch with us on Instagram and on Twitter. Our handle is simply at On This Frequency.
Vénganse, vénganse, vénganse. Vamos a jugar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a cantar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a llorar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a fumar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a jugar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a cantar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a fumar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a tomar hoy, hoy,